You know, every year it feels like the NFL just knows how to stir the pot when it comes to the Chargers. I mean, they really went out of their way again this season. And no, I'm not even talking about the schedule itself. Yet. I'm actually talking about the fact that this schedule is going to tell us everything we need to know about the Chargers. Fast, because make no mistake, this is a prove-it schedule, a pressure cooker, a measuring stick, whatever label you want to throw on it, it fits. Jim Harbaugh didn't come here to play around, and the NFL didn't exactly give him a soft landing either. This schedule is built to expose teams that aren't ready, and the Chargers are either going to rise to the moment or they're going to get humbled really quick. So let's get into it. Let's go week by week. Let's talk about what I like, what I hate, and why this schedule is way more complicated than people on the outside seem to realize. What's up, buddies? Welcome back. If you are new here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We cover all AFC West news here on this channel. Okay, we'll start with week 1. Chargers, Chiefs, São Paulo, Brazil. Look, I get it. It's great for the league. It's great for fans in Brazil. But from a football perspective, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. You're flying halfway across the world to open your season against Patrick Mahomes. You don't even get the advantage of home field. You're playing on a Friday night, on a neutral field after international travel. You really couldn't script a more uncomfortable spot to kick off the Jim Harbaugh era. Now, the one thing I will say, the Chiefs are notorious for starting fast. September is their best month historically. But this is also a brand new look Chargers team. And if Harbaugh can rally them early, maybe they catch Kansas City off guard. Either way, the NFL wasted no time turning up the heat on Harbaugh and this roster. Week 2, the Chargers head to Las Vegas to face the Raiders on Monday Night Football. I actually don't mind this spot. You've got a little extra time to recover after the Brazil trip, and catching the Raiders early might be a blessing. Pete Carroll is still getting his system in place. New quarterback, new staff. It takes time for a team to find their identity. The Chargers have had mixed results in Vegas over the years, but with the Raiders still in transition mode, this is the week to steal one on the road. Week 3, the Chargers return home to face the Broncos. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Sean Payton's team is way more dangerous than people realize. That defense carried them last year. And now they've got reinforcements. They added Talanoa Hufanga. They added Dre Greenlaw. And they're loaded with speed on defense. That's not a team you want to take lightly, especially early in the year when everyone's still relatively healthy. It's a home game, sure, but I'm calling it right now. The game is going to come down to the final drive. Week 4, the Chargers travel cross-country to face the Giants in New York. And look, the Giants are a weird team. Their quarterback situation is a mess. Their offensive line is shaky, and they really don't scare me offensively. But this is the NFL. You go on the road, you play in that early time slot, and weird things happen. I expect this to be one of those games that's closer than it should be. But on talent alone, the Chargers should get it done. Now, here's where things really start to tighten up. Week 5, the Chargers host the Commanders. This isn't the same Washington team we saw a couple years ago. This is Jayden Daniels' team now. He's electric. His arm might still be a work in progress, but his legs? Those are game changers. And if the Chargers haven't figured out how to stop mobile quarterbacks by then, this could be a rough Sunday. On paper, the Chargers should have the advantage, but if Daniels gets loose, this one could flip fast. Week 6, it's off to Miami to face the Dolphins, and honestly, I have no idea what to make of Miami right now. They've got speed everywhere on offense. Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, but their offensive line is still a question mark. Their defense is a mess. And Tua Tagovailoa, well, let's just say the clock's ticking on that situation. I could see this being a shootout. I could see this being a meltdown. It's one of those games you can't feel good about until you see how the first month of the season plays out, but it's on the road, in the heat, and the Chargers have struggled in these spots before. Week 7, back home to face the Colts. And man, if Anthony Richardson takes the next step, this game gets scary real fast. He's built like a linebacker, runs like a receiver, and has a cannon for an arm. But accuracy has been the issue. If he's still struggling to throw the ball consistently, the Chargers should control this one. But if he's cleaned that up, watch out. Week 8, a short week on Thursday Night Football as the Chargers host the Vikings. And honestly, I hate this matchup on a short week. You've got Brian Flores, one of the smartest defensive minds in football, going up against Greg Roman's offense. Historically, that's been a mismatch in Flores' favor. Add in the quick turnaround from the previous week, and that's a recipe for trouble. Now, the wild card here is J.J. McCarthy. The Chargers staff knows this kid inside and out from their Michigan days. That gives them a small advantage, but if Justin Jefferson is healthy and McCarthy is playing even average football, this is the kind of game that could easily slip away if the Chargers come out flat. Week 9, they're back on the road heading to Tennessee, and I know it's been a tough place for the Chargers over the years, but I actually feel pretty good about this one. Cam Ward is the Titans' new quarterback, but outside of Calvin Ridley, there's just not much there in terms of weapons. The Titans' offensive line is still rebuilding, and if the Chargers' pass rush shows up, they should be able to control this game. It won't be pretty, it never is in Tennessee, but it's winnable. Then it's Week 10, and this is one I'm really circling. Sunday Night Football, back home against the Steelers. And if you've followed the Chargers long enough, you know exactly what kind of game this is going to be. Ugly, physical, low scoring. The Steelers love dragging teams into the mud and forcing them to play on their terms. The Chargers have traditionally struggled with that kind of fight, especially when the Steelers bring their fans and turn SoFi into Heinz Field West. Now, the wild card here is the Steelers' quarterback situation. If it's still Mason Rudolph or Will Howard, you have to feel like the Chargers have the edge. After that slugfest, the Chargers head to Jacksonville in Week 11, and this is the trap game on the schedule in my opinion. You've just played a brutal game against the Steelers. You're staring down the bye week next, and you're facing a Jaguars team that's young, scrappy, and dangerous when they get hot. Trevor Lawrence still has the tools, and the Jaguars have some weapons on the outside. If the Chargers come out sluggish, this one could get ugly. It feels like the kind of game that messes up everyone's playoff predictor boards. Luckily, after that, the Chargers finally get a break with their Week 12 bye. It's well-timed, and they're going to need it because the final stretch of this schedule is absolutely brutal. Right after the bye, Week 13, the Chargers come back home to face the Raiders again. This time, with 2 weeks to prepare and the advantage of playing at home, I expect Jim Harbaugh to have his team ready to go. This feels like a statement game, and I think the Chargers take care of business here. Then comes Week 14, Monday Night Football against the Eagles. And let me tell you, this is arguably the toughest matchup of the entire season. Philly is loaded on both sides of the ball. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, that offensive line. And defensively, they might have the best front seven in football. If the Chargers aren't fully healthy coming out of the bye, this could be a rough night. This is a heavyweight fight, and the Chargers better come swinging. Week 15, they head to Kansas City. Look, it's Arrowhead in December against Mahomes and Andy Reid. You already know what I'm going to say. This is one of the hardest environments in football. If the Chargers can somehow steal this one, it changes everything in the AFC West race. But it's a massive ask. This feels like a game where you just hope to survive and come back healthy. Then it's Week 16, back on the road again, this time to face the Cowboys. Now, I've said this before. Dallas looks great on paper. CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, George Pickens now in the mix. But the Cowboys are also the most unpredictable team in football. 1 week, they look like Super Bowl contenders. The next week, they're losing to teams they shouldn't. This feels like a winnable game if the Chargers show up locked in. But you can't trust Dallas to roll over. You've got to take it. Week 17. The Chargers are back home to face the Texans. This might not look like a high-profile game, but make no mistake. C.J. Stroud and that Texans offense can light you up if you're not careful. The good news for the Chargers is that Houston's offensive line is still a huge question mark. If the pass rush gets home, they should be able to control the tempo. But if Stroud gets time to operate, this could turn into another high-scoring shootout late in the season. And finally, it all comes down to Week 18, on the road, in Denver at Mile High. Closing your season in that altitude, in that environment, with playoff stakes likely on the line. That's brutal. I've seen too many Chargers seasons end in that stadium with heartbreak. The Broncos are going to be in the mix. They're a much better team than people want to give them credit for. And that defense? Still one of the toughest units in the league. If the Chargers have something to play for in Week 18, they better come ready to fight for 4 full quarters because Denver is going to make them earn every inch. So, there you have it. That's the full stretch run. No breathers, no freebies. Now, even after walking through all of that, I still believe 12 wins is on the table, but they've got to earn it. Drop your record predictions down in the comments. Let me know the game that worries you the most.